take flight with embellishment on today's episode of Love of Quilting.
First, we'll create a hot air balloon quilt block and use satin stitching to embellish the cables.
Next, we'll create a butterfly block with a ribbon body.
And we'll wrap up with a little sparkle in the binding.
Embellish your spring with creativity and color. Welcome to the 4600 series of Love of Quilting. I'm Angela Huffman.
And I'm Sarah Gallegos.
And Sarah, you have brought a lovely quilt. It has tulips. It has hot air balloons.
So fun, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so for this episode, there were two really cute quilts that I wanted to just feature a few of the techniques that I find like especially inspiring. Because you know, I love when I can use decorative stitches and little machine gadgets and all that fun stuff. So this is Tulip Tour by Jessica Halpin.
So
and
cute.
Isn't it adorable?
It is.
This hot air balloon block that she created is so sweet, and we're going to talk about how to create this and then tips for adding a satin stitch here for the ropes of the hot air balloon.
Nice.
Really cute, right?
Uh-huh.
And then Jessica also did this really fun
Love it.
triple binding.
Yeah, so it's got 3 layers, the regular binding, a little flange, and then some rickrack tucked in there. So sweet.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to talk a little bit about how you can tuck a trim like this into your binding. I think she did it by hand, just kind of looking at this, but, well, no, she did use a machine, right?
Machine,
so we're going to talk a little bit about how to do that with your machine and some tips and tricks for holding everything in place. And then behind us, we have Springtime Flutters by
So
Dodie
cute.
Polson. So cute. And I just thought that the butterfly blocks were adorable, and she's used a little piece of ribbon to create the body of the butterflies, and I thought we would kind of share how to do that too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
nice.
So we're going to start with our hot air balloon
Okay.
block.
All right.
I'll take that from you.
Yeah, I like how the hot air balloon is a great way to kind of showcase a block too. So this is a strip set, or we're just going to put it together with the long bands here.
Yeah.
But you could also show off other blocks inside of it.
Super duper simple, yeah. And that's what Jessica did. Is she had a nice little block. You know, you're surprised that I didn't make the pinwheel one. I went with the simple one because we got a lot of techniques to show. But it does start with 4 strips and then of course some corners. So we'll kind of start by placing these where they belong.
So you're going to do the corners first before you put the strips together?
Correct.
Got it.
Because we've got to be able to cut them apart, you know, and press and all that fun stuff. So I've marked a straight line diagonally, and I've got them right sides together, and I'm just going to stitch right down that center line. There we go. A little cut.
And I'm feeling this, it feels a little different than, is this just cotton, or is this a different kind of fabric?
So for this project, I was making, you know, smaller amounts of blocks. So instead of doing yardage, I got a fat quarter bundle. And this fat quarter bundle had some linen blends in it. It had some plaids that were really fun, stripes, solids. So it was kind of like a whole bunch of different fabrics within a color palette that played really well together. And I really like stitching with cotton linen blends. I think they're really fun. They hold the needle well, and they just give a little extra texture to a quilt block.
I've not played with cotton linen.
Ooh, they're
before.
fun.
Yeah. It has a nice texture.
It does. And I think people get a little bit intimidated because they think it's ravelly, but look at that. It's not too ravelly. It's not bad at all. And I do typically add a little, you know, starch alternative to it, but it's nice. And you know what else I really love it for? Is embroidery. It's really nice to embroider on. It's fun to use decorative stitches.
And so why is it really good for embroidery?
Just the body of it. It just takes the stitching really nicely.
Nice.
Yeah, love it. All right, so here we're now ready to cut those apart a little bit.
You want to just
We've
do it
got
with
a pair of
scissors?
Sure.
Okay.
And then,
I do have rulers if you'd like a ruler.
sure. You know, you can use the scissors, or it's a little faster with the rotary cutter. And I think that I buried the rotary cutter when I was, you know,
Oh, yeah?
putting everything together and making it look all pretty. I stole some of the supplies we needed. How do you like that? Okay, so now that those are trimmed, we're gonna go ahead and press them out.
Okay.
And while you do that, I'm gonna sew these 2 solid bars together also.
And am I going to press towards the white
I
flippy
did.
corner?
I
Yeah.
know typically we press toward the dark, but I felt like that laid a little nicer.
And so the cotton linen blend, you can still hit it with steam. You can still treat it the way you would regular cotton. You can still wash it the way you do regular cotton.
Oh, yeah.
All of that.
Yep, it is made for quilters.
And so you said it was good for embroidery, but you still have to add some kind of stabilizer
Always,
to
yeah.
the cotton linen.
Anytime you're embroidering, you need some kind of a stabilizer. Even if you're like embroidering on a quilt, which we'll actually do this season too. But we use the batting in that one, and that does give you the body that you need, especially for the type of design that we're going to be playing with, to stabilize and hold those stitches really nicely. But yes, you always want to have a little stabilizer. And even for the decorative stitching that we're going to do today, we're going to use some too. So now we'll just stick those together real quick.
Okay.
And if you want to kind of lay out the basket of our
All right.
hot air balloon.
Have you been in a hot air balloon, Sarah?
I am deathly afraid of heights.
So
I have
no?
not. Have you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh gosh.
A couple of times.
My heart is racing just thinking about a hot air balloon
Really?
ride.